Causes of birth and death. According to the Surangama Sutra, Book 9, in the part of the 10 states of formation skanda, the Buddha reminded Ananda, "Ananda, you should know that when the good person has obtained proper knowledge and his practice of samatha, his mind is unmoving, clear, and proper, and it cannot be disturbed by the 10 kinds of demons from the heavens. He is now able to intently and thoroughly investigate the origin of all categories of beings. As the origin of each category becomes apparent, he can contemplate the source of the subtle, fleeting and pervasive fluctuation. But if he begins to speculate on that pervasive source, he could fall into error with two theories of the absence of cause. First, perhaps this person sees no cause for the origin of life. Why? Since he has completely destroyed the mechanism of production, he can, by means of the 800 merits of the eye organ, see all beings in the swirling flow of karma, during 80,000 eons, dying in one place, and being reborn in another, as they undergo transmigration. But he cannot see beyond 80,000 eons. Therefore, he concluded that for the last 80,000 eons living beings in the 10 directions of this and other worlds have come into being, without any cause. Second, perhaps this person sees no cause for the end of life. And why? Since he perceives the origin of life, he believes that people are always born as people and birds are always born as birds, that crows have always been black, and swans have always been white, that humans and gods have always stood upright, and animals have always walked on 4 legs, that whiteness does not come from being washed, and blackness does not come from being dyed, and that there have never been, nor there will be any changes for 80,000 eons. He says, as I now examine to the end of this life, I find the same holds true. In fact, I have never seen Bodhi. So how can there be such a thing as the attainment of Bodhi? You should now realize that there is no cause for the existence of any phenomena. Because of this speculation, he will lose proper and pervasive knowledge, fall into externalism, and become confused about the Bodhi nature. According to Buddhism, children are born from 4 causes. First, repaying past kindness which the child incurred a debt of gratitude to the parents in previous lifetime. To repay it, the child has come to be born in the parents' household and will attend painstakingly to their needs throughout their life. Second, repaying the past wrongs which the parents committed in their previous life. To seek retribution, the children have come to be born in their household. Thus, when they are still young, they are so unruly, and when grown they will create misfortunes and calamities implicating their parents. In old age the parents will be left in want, and their treatment after the parents' death will not only dishonor them, but the shame will extend to the ancestors as well. Third, for repaying past debts, the children have come to be reborn in their parents' household. If it is a great debt, repayment can be for the parents' entire lifetime. If the debt is small, repayment can cover part of the parents' lifetime before the children die. Fourth, to claim past debts, the children have come to be reborn in the family. If the debt is small, the parents will merely have to spend money to feed, clothe, education, health, and helping them getting married. If the debt is big, the children may sometimes deplete all the parents' assets. Death. Death naturally comes to everyone. However, most people feel uncomfortable thinking about death. People fear that if they talk about death, death is coming closer. That's a mistaken idea. In fact, by very nature our lives are impermanent, and death is inevitable. By natural law, death is one of the 4 steps of the law of impermanence. Thus, death is an irrevocable result of living, It's good to think about it to make our lives more meaningful. Once we fully recognize that we will inevitably die, all the petty concerns that worry us in our daily life become insignificant compared to the importance of following the path before our lives end. The Buddha taught, "There is no greater realization than awareness of the impermanence of our lives. Such realization will help us understand that at the time of death, our mind streams and the imprints of the actions we have created go on to future lives. Such realization will also help us understand clearly that if we spend precious human lives acting harmfully with bad motivations, the imprints of those actions will come with us. Devout Buddhists should always remember that death definitely comes to everyone, whether we are kings or mandarins, rich or poor, noble or ignoble. There is nowhere we can go to avoid death. Our lifespans can't be extended, and with every passing moment, they're becoming shorter and shorter. When our lifespans run out, we can't bargain for more time in order to transform our minds. In addition, in Buddhism, Marana means the arising and passing away of all mental and physical phenomena. Death is only a physiological erosion of the human body. Death is only a separation of mind and matter, the abandonment of the body. This is the last of the chain of the 12 nidanas. According to Buddhism, death is the moment when the alaya, consciousness, leaves the body, not when the heart has stopped, or brain waves can no longer be detected. Death is the separation of mind and matter-body. This separation may take place over several hours or days, as is generally the case in a death from natural causes, or it may happen rather more suddenly, as in an accident. But in either case there are certain definite stages in the dying process. The body does not lose its ability to maintain consciousness all at once, but does so gradually with each element of the body: earth, water, fire, and air, losing its supportive ability in turn. Buddhists believe that though the body dies, the consciousness lives on. Thus there exists rebirth. According to other religious concepts in ancient China, death is the dissolution of the body and its other parts, where perceptive organs are discarded. These organs left the material form and bidding farewell to the knowledge. At that time, one becomes one with the great Pervader. In the Dharmapada Sutra, the Buddha taught, "Not in the sky, nor in mid-ocean, nor in a mountain cave, nowhere on earth where one can escape from death. Death descends and carries away that man of drowsy mind, greedy for children and cattle. Just like flood sweeps away a sleeping village, nothing can be saved, nor sons, nor a father, nor even relatives. There is no help from kinsmen can save a man from death. Sentient beings are subject to illness. Bodhisattvas are ill as well." According to the Vimalakirti Sutra, at the time of the Buddha, one day Upasaka Vimalakirti was sick. The Buddha asked his great disciples, one after another, to call on Vimalakirti to inquire after his health. But no one dared to accept. Eventually, Manjusri Bodhisattva accepted the Buddha's command to call on Vimalakirti to inquire after his health. The Buddha then said to Manjusri, "You call on Vimalakirti to inquire after his health." Manjusri said, "World-honored one, he is a man of superior wisdom, and it is not easy to match him in eloquence, for he has reached reality and is a skillful expounder of the essentials of the Dharma. His power of speech is unhindered, and his wisdom is boundless. He is well versed in all matters pertaining to Bodhisattva development, for he has entered the mysterious treasury of all Buddhas. He has overcome all demons, has achieved all transcendental powers, and has realized wisdom by ingenious devices, upaya. Nevertheless, I will obey the holy command and will call on him to inquire after his health. The Bodhisattvas, the chief disciples of the Buddha, and the rulers of the four heavens who were present, thought to themselves, as the two Mahasattvas will be meeting, they will certainly discuss the profound Dharma. So, 8,000 Bodhisattvas, 500 Sravakas and hundreds, and thousands of Devas wanted to follow Manjushri. So Manjushri, reverently surrounded by the Bodhisattvas, the Buddha's chief disciples, and the Devas, made for Vaisali town. Vimalakirti, who knew in advance that Manjushri and his followers would come, used his transcendental powers to empty his house of all attendants and furniture except a sick bed. When entering the house, Manjushri saw only Vimalakirti lying on sick bed, and was greeted by the Upasaka, who said, "Welcome, Manjushri. You come with no idea of coming, and you see with no idea of seeing." Manjushri replied, "It is so, Venerable Upasaka. Coming should not be further tied to the idea of coming, and going should not be further linked with the concept of going. Why? Because there is neither whence to come, nor whither to go, and that which is visible cannot further be an object of seeing. Now, let us put all this aside. Venerable Upasaka, is your illness bearable? Will it get worse by wrong treatment? The world-honored one sends me to inquire after your health, and is anxious to have good news of you. Venerable Upasaka, where does your illness come from? How long has it arisen? And how will it come to an end?" Vimalakirti replied, "Stupidity leads to love, which is the origin of my illness. Because all living beings are subject to illness, I am ill as well. When all living beings are no longer ill, my illness will come to an end. Why? A bodhisattva, because of his vow to save living beings, enters the realm of birth and death, which is subject to illness. If they are all cured, the bodhisattva will no longer be ill. For instance, when the only son of an elder falls ill, so do his parents, and when he recovers his health, so do they. Likewise, a bodhisattva loves all living beings, as if they were his sons. So when they fall ill, the bodhisattva is also ill, and when they recover, he is no longer ill.